Hey guys, thank you for clicking onto this video. So I wanted to draw something today, something a little bit out of the ordinary. And I just wanted to check out my old magazines to see if I could get an image of something like that, something that will pop in my head. So I'm looking at all these covers and I'd be thinking, man, look how time flies. Wow. Good thing I hold on to these stuff. It's good to have some of this stuff, not all of them. You probably just want to keep the good stuff around, especially the ones that have a lot of art in there. And looking at these covers, it's just like, man, a blast from the past. And I finally found what I was looking for. Look at this dog. As soon as I saw this picture, I was inspired. I gotta make my own version of it. Alright, so I did a little breakdown here. So I wanted to make my own version of Okami. That's the dog on the cover. And it looked like he got a big giant sword in his mouth and he's about to slay a couple of troopers. Looked like he infiltrated some type of structure. I'm thinking maybe I'm giving off a certain vibe where he's after somebody or he's having his vengeful moment of something that happened to him or his kind or something like that. When we see an image that we all like, sometimes we just want to not copy but have our own different interpretation of what we see because we kind of enjoy what we seeing right in front of us, so we try to put it in different ways. So this is my version of Okami, the vengeful dog. So I wanted to draw something today and I wanted to look at my old stuff, go to my closet and dig out some old books or some old magazines, and before, when I cracked open this box and I found this magazine with Okami in the cover, I had a small moment of looking at all my stuff and I was just thinking, like, I remember every single thing that I bought in this closet. In this closet that's full of old games and old books and comics and toys that I'm never going to see the day of light again. But would I throw them away? Probably won't. Yeah, there's some stuff I might toss some stuff out because I just bought them we buy them out of curiosity, or is some type of a clone of what we usually buy, like a cheap knockoff. Say like we keep the Transformers on our shelves, but we put the GoBots in we put the GoBots in a shoebox and toss in a closet, and we just say goodbye to it. We don't take it out of that closet for years, but the Transformers get to be in our vision all the time. But in general, the stuff that we buy, the stuff that we collect, we treat them as treasures, but not like as treasures where the pirate sees a treasure as a way to survive, a way to gain power. We see them as treasures, like something that enlightens our life, a certain joy that you can't get it from a store. Even though you got your stuff from the store, you got your collection from the store, but the joy of the journey, yes, the journey, the adventure, getting out of your house, you put on your clothes, you got your money in your pocket, you're heading off to the train or bus, and you're have this little feeling in your heart and your body. You be thinking, I hope it's still on the shelf. I hope it's still there. I got the money for it. I worked hard for it. I did this amount of hours to get this money. I budget myself to get this item. So when you get the item, it's a great feeling. And when you bring it home, guess what happens? That little high starts to calm down a little bit. You got your toy, you got your game or your DVD or whatever that you enjoy, whatever, or that phone or that computer, that thing that you like so much, that you enjoy so much. You got it in your hands and you bring it home and you got it on your table, whatever, you're unpackaging it. So after a couple of hours, a few days, you're back to normal again, and you slowly tell yourself, okay, what's next? Another adventure is rising because collecting doesn't stop. This adventure of gathering of all the stuff that you enjoy, you go through the moments, you go through the trial and tribulations of hoping that the person behind the counter doesn't say it's out of stock. You're hoping that the person doesn't say, come back tomorrow, we have a new shipment. You're hoping that you don't have to go to eBay and wait a couple of days for it to arrive. You're hoping that you're hoping that you don't have to go on Amazon and, just like eBay, wait another couple of days. You're hoping that there's not a long line outside for you to get your new game console. You're hoping a whole bunch of stuff doesn't happen because you have worked to get what you want. You put in long hours, you went outside, you slayed the dragon. And you should get what you like so much, especially if you want a complete collection of whatever action figure that you're hoping to complete, or you're hoping that the pre-order doesn't sell out. Whatever you're collecting, it gives you joy because you're going through the moments to gather what you want. When you look at your stuff, of course you're going to remember where you bought it, how much you bought it, how long you had to wait to get it. Of course, can you turn around and bring it back to the store for a certain price? Yes, you can. Yeah. But do you want to? No. Okay, maybe some do, depending on the situation. But if you're a hobbyist, if you're a person who loves to collect, there's a good chance, even when the thing turns out to be damaged over the years, or let's say the magazine or a comic book, or it changes color, or it has a tear on the side or something like that, there's a great chance you're probably not going to throw it away. You're going to put it in a box and toss it somewhere in a closet, an attic, or basement somewhere. This is part of your history. So I remember back in the days where it was very beneficial to know somebody that knows computers more than your average person. Why? Because you could get free movies and free videos. Back in the days, not everybody had access to a DVD burner or some type of internet. With the DVD burners, you could, the person who you make a request and the next day they bring you the movies instead of just paying full price for the DVD or the movie ticket. So it's always nice to know somebody about that stuff. In the men's locker room back in the days, there's always somebody coming around say DVD. Yo, I got the movies, man. I got the movies. And I remember back in the days in high school where somebody would come out and say, hey, I can get you some free music. It's always beneficial to know somebody that knows a little bit more than you do. Now, as an adult, you tend to know people that has, I would say, they're really serious about their hobbies. It's always nice to know somebody that knows a little bit more, who is into their hobbies, really hobbies. There's stuff that they love. There's stuff that they run home to so they could complete it, to make it. A guy who's running home to work on his garage, or a girl who wants to run and finish making her painting. Somebody who wants to go home and, skip the bar scene to finish their music. Or somebody who wants to, just want to stay home and chill and just be drowned in their movie collection because they love movies so much. There was one thing I learned about these people who are into their hobbies, they do one thing perfectly. They don't waste time. Yes, they don't waste time at all. So skipping the bar scene, skipping hanging out at your friend's house and just talk a whole bunch of junk, or skip the smoke session. They go home, they finish their painting, they work on their computers, they play their video games, they go online and play the next Call of Duty because they love that type of stuff. I mean, some people that love their stuff, they become YouTubers, or Twitch guys, or whatever you call them. They go on social media and they show you either a how-to video, a tutorial video, or they just show you what they're enjoying. These are the guys you should pay some type of attention to. As you grow older, you will tend to flock to them more because they're spending very little time on, what's that word? BS? But as time passes by, you can always learn something from them. There's always something that you could better your life in, something beneficial for you to learn from them, But those are guys who how can I say, they go to social media and they do the thing. But there's another type of collector out there. Those are the real quiet ones. In order for you to know that they're into certain things, you gotta pour some time into them. See, try to figure them out. But slowly but surely they'll let you know. But I like to classify these guys and girls as, this is a weird term I like to say, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. They're these guys who are so quiet, but they love their hobbies just as much as any other person. But they kind of remind me of like the Shaolin monks. They know their stuff. Oh yes, they know their stuff. Whatever stuff that they're into, they know it from in and out. They know the inner mechanics. They know all that stuff. But they're really, really quiet on that stuff. There's no showboating for these guys. I wouldn't want to piss them off on a personal level. I think anybody who does will quickly find out the term fighting nerds. So it's just like they're very, very, very solid people, but still they do the same thing like everybody else does who love their hobbies. They don't BS with their time. They pour money, time, and energy into these hobbies that somehow makes them a better person, and in a lot of occasions it makes them a better parent. Yes, a better parent, so they could show their children, their young boys and young girls, to have a hobby, to keep their mind focused, to keep their mind going, to seek out these things that could keep them out of trouble. It is always good to hear young children to talk passionately about, cartoons, about Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon and stuff like that, because that is an indicator that children who are into this stuff, they have an environment where it's okay to run home and watch the cartoons. It's a safe environment where it's good to be like, hey, let me watch my Naruto. Let me watch the next Power Ranger or the next Kamen Rider. When you hear children enjoying these things, it's a good indicator that the parents has done a good job, that they provided a safe environment for kids to be kids. One day when they grow up, they're not gonna be doing some crazy stuff. So it's good to let them enjoy these stuff. Of course, you do have to put a little concern that if they put too much attention to these stuff, especially in crazy hours of Call of Duty and stuff like that, or Grand Theft Auto, yes, it could be a little concerning, but down the road, at least you know that they're not going to be gangbangers. So if my kid ever comes down, if I ever have a child and he comes home and be like, hey, Pops, you mind changing the channel? I want to watch some Dragon Ball. Of course, I'm going to look at him funny and be like, who you think you talking to? Then I'll calm down and I'll look at him like, when is Piccolo going to get his own show? Hey guys, what do you think about wrestling? That's right, wrestling, where a whole bunch of people fight for the heavyweight championship. What do you think about this tournament that calls itself the Royal Rumble? A whole bunch of men goes into the ring and they do their best to toss another man out until there's only one man left. Oh, wrestling is so entertaining. You know, all that practice, all that work for one night to get the championship, and they constantly hurt each other just to be the champ. Oh, all that just for us. Isn't that entertaining? And every person, every wrestler that you like has a possibility of getting slammed out of the ring. Yes, even the ones that you like. And next thing you know, the one that is unexpected is left in the ring. And you can only wonder, how did that wrestler survive all that while all the rest has been thrown out of the ring, has a certain label called creative differences. Every wrestler that has been thrown out of the ring is been labeled creative differences. Yes, guys, behind the scenes of them all, behind the guys who are making the comic, making the animation, making the game, making the movie, yes, there is winners and losers in every bracket. So all the creatives that we like, yes, that we love, sometimes lose a battle and sometimes they lose big. But you, the customer, the purchaser, the buyer, would never know what's going on behind the scenes. You are not supposed to know. In fact, you're only supposed to know it until somebody is so pissed off, so mad, that they decide to ring the bell and let you know. But you're not gonna know now for a couple of weeks, months, and sometimes years. Yes, because behind the scenes, where the creators, the creatives, are so linked to the corporate world, they prefer not to let nobody know the secret battles, the secret wars behind making the product. Oh yes, so in order for somebody to ring the bell, to break the wall of silence, a couple of paychecks have to be missing. Royalty checks was probably not sent out, and even a couple of creative ideas were probably stolen behind the scenes. Oh man, when I say the word creative differences, it only means that somebody walked out the office so pissed off because they probably got their idea stolen or blocked off from someone else. What was that word? I haven't heard that word since high school. Especially when you got a crush on somebody and someone else seemed to somehow snagged the person that you liked. What was that word? Cock blocking? Yeah, I think that happens a lot in the creative places, creative environments. So there is a lot of things behind the scenes that you're probably gonna have to dig to find out. or find a YouTube channel to find out what really happened behind the scenes of the movie, the game. The corporate industry knows that you don't care about what happens behind the scene as long as you see the product on the shelf. But if you're a person who's have a curiosity of what's going on to your favorite writer, to your favorite artist, to your favorite creative team, of why they stopped producing, of why they stopped writing, why they stopped painting, of why they made a long disappearance in the creative space, well, you'll find out, but you have to dig for them. You have to dig. And by the time you find out what happened to your favorite artist, writer, novelist, film director, whatever the person that you're interested in, as you're doing your investigation of what happened to this particular artist that took a long break or just disappeared in a creative space, you will come across certain informations that will slowly put the pieces together. Late payments, disappear royalty checks, creative differences, or what happens in most cases, most artists out there and writers can no longer tolerate the low pay. So the struggle of paying rent is concerning, but that doesn't stop there. I kind of find out there's many people in Japanese animation, yes, Japanese animation are also struggling to pay rent. You come to think of all those Dragon Ball Z's, Cowboy Bebop's, and the Trigons, and all those famous animation. There's a large group of animators out there that is struggling to bring home paycheck. So the life of an artist and a writer or a creative is not an easy one. It kind of reminds me of the phrase when I heard people having panic attacks in their cubicle. Yes, so the creative world is kind of similar to the corporate world where there's no safety net. So when I did my investigation of what happened to my favorite artist, I found out that he left the industry, the comic book industry, to become a graphic designer, which he expressed that it was a much better situation. Yes, he did had a moment in the article that I read that he said that he loved the industry, but it was best not to stay. So when he said it is best not to stay, it leaves many unknowns to the imagination. But in some ways it's understandable, because it's kind of hard to throw rocks at an industry or where your favorite character lives, or where a certain story that you love so much originated from. How could you throw? How could you kick it to the ground or throw mud at it? I am sure there is many other reasons why a certain creative would just act like a ninja and toss the smoke on the floor and do the disappearing act. But as they're spending their time at a certain industry that could provide the entertainment for us, that could provide the action figure, that could provide the movie that we could go see, get the popcorn and the soda and sit down there and watch their craft being displayed on screen. Oh yes, I do enjoy all their hard work just for us. But I'm sure behind the scenes, there are many exciting moments, many exciting main events where all the artists, the writers, the film directors, the game designers enter the ring just for our entertainment, where they display all vicious acts of flying elbows, leg drops, body slams, and headbutts. Oh man, and many special maneuvers just to avoid that tap out. Oh, these creators, these creative people, they do so much for our entertainment. Oh, you gotta love wrestling. So we all know where our stuff comes from. If you look at the bottom of the stuff that we buy, it's gonna say Hong Kong, China, or Vietnam, or some other place. But once we get the product in our hands, we could literally just call it a day. You know, the story has ended from there. The feeling of suspense has ended because the product has finally arrived in our home. We could call it a day and think about the next pre-order. But if you're curious, if you're wondering about what you just bought, what you just seen, what you just played, well, there's always a story out there that gives a little bit more detail on what you just bought and what you just invested. After all, I'm thinking there's a little curiosity inside of you of wondering how the creative process has happened, or how it's made, how long it took, how many people did it take to make it. And this is where I say thank goodness for the internet, where the internet gave birth to Google and Google gave birth to YouTube. YouTube is a great place to listen to all sides of the story of how a product is made, to listen to those struggles, those challenges of people overcoming small budgets to make their video games and films. Listening to these stories give you an insight of what's going on in the industry, especially if you're thinking about a career change. It is definitely a platform to constantly to keep tabs on before you invest your time and energy into that industry. So when I go to YouTube and I seek these stories about how certain people make life-changing careers so they could pursue to be an actor or an actress, or the stories behind the corporate merger, or one person sends out a demo tape that changed the rest of their life, or even better yet, how a game studio was so close to closing down their studio until they made their final product that saved all their jobs. These are the stories that's out there on YouTube, and it's always delightful to hear these things. So everybody has a story to tell, and everything that we buy and everything that we put on as fashion, it has a small story that comes along with it. Not all stories are satisfying, but it's enough to know what's going on in the industry. Hey guys, thank you for hanging out with me for the last 29 minutes. Making this video was a blast. I really enjoyed it. Looking at old stuff, getting a small blast from the past, if you don't mind me saying. Until then, let's try to support what's left of our comic book stores, our movie theaters, and our bookstores, and what's left of the game stores, because you never know. Till then, take care of yourself, and bye.